On the eve of our engagement, my girlfriend threw quite the wild bachelor party. Someone asked her, "Aren't you worried Henry might call off the engagement after this?" She replied confidently, "He loves me so much, he wouldn't dare." So, what's it like dating the most old-fashioned guy in our circle? 2 words. Boring, Gina snorted. I'm sacrificing myself for the family business. I'll have to spend my whole life with him, and just thinking about it is terrifying. Big sacrifice. Huh? You bet. I'm afraid he'll turn me into an old fogey. No way, I need compensation, a yacht, maybe. I turned off the recording and just sat there stunned for like 5 seconds. Where does she get the confidence that I can't live without her? I've always been the kind of guy who loves learning, is polite, and respects his elders. I don't bother anyone, yet these spoiled rich kids look down on me. The day before our engagement party, my day was just like any other. Went to class during the day, practiced piano for an hour in the evening, ran for half an hour, and tried on a few suits for the next day. To be in good shape for the big day, I decided to hit the hay early. While in bed, I got a message from a buddy. It was a secretly taken video. The camera panned across a room with colorful lights and a bunch of people. Looked like a party in a villa. Pretty wild, with everyone barely dressed. The video came from Justin, the son of a business partner of my mom's. He'd insisted on exchanging contacts when we had dinner. I added him out of courtesy. Honestly, we aren't close, and we rarely talk. I didn't get the meaning of the video, so I sent a question mark his way. Justin replied, "Gina's throwing a bachelor party behind your back with her rowdy friends and a bunch of dudes. It's too much." Then he sent me a voice recording. The background was loud and chaotic, but I could clearly hear the conversation. Someone asked, "Aren't you worried Henry might call it off?" "He loves me so much, he wouldn't dare," said my girlfriend Gina, her tone smug. So, what's it like dating the most old-fashioned guy in our circle? 2 words. Boring, Gina huffed. I'm sacrificing for the family business. Spending a lifetime with him is terrifying. Big sacrifice. Huh? You bet. I'm afraid he'll turn me old-fashioned. I need compensation like a yacht. I turned off the recording, stunned for like 5 seconds. Seriously, where does she get the confidence that I'm irreplaceable? 6 months ago, Gina and I were set up by our parents. Our families had a big project coming up. One night at dinner, my dad asked, "Got a girlfriend at school?" I shook my head. He followed up, "Anyone you like?" Again, I shook my head. "Then let's set you up," he said seriously. "Sure," I responded easily. My brother laughed. "See, I told you, he's so lazy, he'll let us pick his wife." "My precious Henry, it's Gina who's getting lucky." My mom sighed. Through their introduction, I got a sense of Gina and her family. Her family's been doing business with ours, and we get along well. They have 2 daughters and have been grooming Anna to take over the family business. Gina's sister is 8 years older and already stepping into the family role. Gina, on the other hand, lives the carefree life of a pampered rich kid. Her family's simple, and her dad isn't like most tycoons with mistresses and illegitimate kids. My dad praised him, a rare clean slate. Aside from being a little homely, he's my equal. Because Anna is so much older, she dotes on her little sister. In wealthy circles, genuine couples are rare, but Gina's family, like ours, keeps it simple with no family feuds. Growing up, my parents and brother adored me. I always knew how much they cared. I've gladly let them handle things for me and enjoyed their love. When it came to marriage, we discussed it when I became an adult. We support finding love on your own, not just for family status, they said, which made me appreciate their open-mindedness. Through college, many pursued me, but I never felt a spark. So, into grad school, I told them, "Why don't you find someone for me? I can't be bothered." I trusted they'd consider everything to find the right match. At first, they didn't take me seriously, but after I insisted, they believed I meant it. For a match, they decided not to choose anyone from a family business role. My mom said, "Henry, I don't want you burdened. Just be happy being yourself." I agreed. Mom's hard work hasn't gone unnoticed. I lack ambition and just want to be my family's cherished son. After my folks checked out Gina's family situation, they approved. As for Gina herself, my brother said, "She's good looking, but her character? She's fresh from abroad. We don't know yet." But this is your call. We'll do anything for you, but assessing people is a skill you've got to master. You need to decide who's worth your time, especially your lifelong partner. I nodded in agreement. Gina seemed nice at first, so I decided to give dating a shot. After seeing Justin's video, I realized I hardly know Gina at all. I'm relieved tomorrow's only the engagement. Lucky that I found out now and can call it off. I grabbed my phone and went to find my parents and brother. I showed them the video. I want to call off the engagement. They watched it and were furious too. Don't worry, Dad's calling Mr. Lou right now. Gina always seemed nice, but who knew she was like this behind our backs? Mom was equally angry. Who does she think she is? Talking about our Henry like that? My brother's face was really angry, like scary angry. Dad immediately sent the video to Gina's mom and called her to cancel the engagement. I never doubted for a second they'd stand by me. When we first started this whole matchmaking thing, my parents made it clear. This wasn't about forming an alliance. We weren't dependent on the Lou family. They just figured I'd eventually need to get married. So they set me up with someone to see if it worked. If it doesn't, break up. That's how my brother put it. All right, it's all sorted. Dad gave my shoulder a reassuring pat. You don't need to worry about anything else. Get some sleep. I nodded and headed back to my room. Just as I laid down, Gina called. I could almost hear her clenching her teeth through the phone. Henry, you're calling off the engagement? It's already off, I calmly replied. Why? The video? Isn't it sent to your mom already? A bachelor party? Just because of that? Just because of that. She scoffed. Calling you old-fashioned wasn't even wrong. What's the big deal if I have a bachelor party before getting engaged? Is that some unforgivable crime? Different values can't live together. I kept it short and sweet. I don't agree to break up. You don't need to, I replied and hung up. It was Saturday the next day, and like usual, I went to the state library early. Up front, Gina blocked my way. Can we talk? She raised an eyebrow. I nodded. I didn't want to drag this out further. Might as well settle it once and for all. As soon as we sat in a cafe, a bold guy walked up. Hey, can I get your contact info? He seemed to ignore me, staring directly at Gina instead. Gina shot me a glance and mischievously smiled. You got guts, huh? Aren't you afraid I'm taking my chances, he replied. What if he's your brother sitting across from you? Plus, why worry about having a boyfriend? If you're not married, I still have a shot. Bold kid. Gina got her phone out and let him scan her QR code. The guy left happy. All that time, I just sat there without saying a word. I never doubted Gina's popularity. I'm a sucker for looks myself, was drawn to her appearance at first glance when we were set up. Gina's looks were a perfect mix of youthful and mature, with a sharp, prideful air only young women have. A lot of guys have this urge to conquer. Not me though. In terms of dating, I was willing to give it a shot just because she was the most attractive person I'd met in real life. I mean, I was in my 20s and hadn't dated anyone. She was my match, so why not try? I'd encountered it before, people eyeing my girl. There was a time at the movies, a guy boldly asked if I was her boyfriend. She acted without hesitation, yep, I've got a boyfriend. You can leave now. She was pretty smug about her popularity. She'd always ask me, how is it, having such a pretty girlfriend? Feeling the pressure? I'd always play along. I better keep an eye on you. Now that we've broken up, she doesn't have to act, and added another guy right in front of me. Let me ask you again. Are you sure you want to break up? Gina asked, eyes locked on mine. Sure. She seemed really pissed off, abruptly stood, took a deep breath, and then sat again. You saw, right? People want me. I'm giving you one last chance to change your mind. Miss out now, and even if you beg later, I won't come back. Don't worry, I won't regret it, I assured her. Henry. She slammed her hand on the table, breathing heavily. That guy asked for my WeChat, and I gave it to him. You've got nothing to say? We're broken up. That's your freedom, I said sincerely. Fine, fine. Break up it is. We're done, she replied, clenching her teeth, storming off. The engagement got canceled, and both families made it public. I thought the cafe talk wrapped things up with Gina. This chapter was closed. But 2 days later, Gina sent me a group invite. That's when I realized I hadn't deleted her yet. I was about to block her, but I noticed something familiar about the group name. Turning the world upside down. That name rang a bell. Suddenly, Justin's warning came back to me. Henry, Gina doesn't even like you. There's this group with all those privileged brats. My buddy's in it and says they talk crap about you there. I tried getting in, but they wouldn't let me. The rule is no one outside that circle can join. But I've seen the chats, they mock you, say you're uptight, a puppet to your parents, an embarrassment to rich kids. I wanted to screenshot it, but my buddy wouldn't allow it. They were all talking trash, Gina included, never standing up for you. Believe me, Gina's not worth it. She's not the one. By the way, the group name is Turning the World Upside Down. I'll try to get in and show you the chats. Back then, I tried to peek at Gina's phone while she used it, but never saw that group name. Plus, when I first got in touch with Justin, I noticed something off. He was too eager, a bit too keen on me breaking up with Gina. I approached it with caution, never fully buying what he said. With his obvious agenda, I worried he might have some other motive. That's why I only kept him at a friendly distance. So now, seeing the name of the group chat reminded me of something Justin once said. Curiosity got the better of me, so I clicked to join. As soon as I entered, someone sent a rather spiteful message. Welcome, simp, they said. I glanced at their profile pic, didn't recognize them, so they must be one of Gina's friends. Anyway, it's always a big group with them, so I still can't tell who's who. I'm not big on hanging out with Gina's friends. It's not that I look down on them for being aimless and idle. It's more about our clashing personalities and habits. They're loud wherever they go, always either drinking or racing. Their quietest time is when they're playing poker at some exclusive club. Their lifestyle is just ridiculous, basically living upside down. They stay up until 3 or 4 in the morning, sometimes even all night, then sleep until the afternoon, after which it's time to party again. I went out with them twice and insisted on leaving by midnight. I usually hit the sack by 11, so I can't handle their schedule. After that, no matter how much Gina invited me, I just wouldn't hang out with her friends anymore. I remember thinking back then, at least Gina's different from them. When Gina graduated from abroad, her sister gave her a small company to hone her business management skills. Her sister even assigned 2 assistants to Gina, making sure she went to the office every day to handle affairs. If the company performance dropped within 6 months, her sister threatened to snag a few of her beloved cars based on the situation. To keep her cars, Gina diligently went to work every day. Her friends would tease her about being such a goody two-shoes. She only had weekends to play with them. Thinking about it now, birds of a feather do flock together. If Gina wasn't like them, how could she hang out with them? Gina and her friends are all the same, birds of a feather. She added me to this group just to vent. What I thought was over, she still can't let go. Maybe she's just upset that I called off the engagement. Perhaps she thinks I embarrassed her. After the welcome, simp message, a shower of memes followed, most of them poking fun at me. Let's see the famous goody two-shoes. Does he dare drink now? They taunted. You believe that? He probably drinks in secret. Someone else added. Yeah, he says he's never drunk. Makes me laugh. Never seen someone so fake, another sneered. Those messages brought back memories of that time I went to a bar with Gina. I usually prefer quiet places, so I avoid loud spots like that. The bar was noisy, with fast-paced music drowning everything out, giving me a headache. I was just about to step outside for some air when Gina's friends urged me to drink. They handed me a mixed drink, claiming it was specially made for me and very low in alcohol. I politely declined, saying I never drink. At first, they laughed heartily, thinking it was a joke. Once they saw I was serious, they exchanged puzzled looks, then regarded me with disdain. Their stares made me uncomfortable. They didn't believe me and mocked me for being pretentious. But I was telling the truth. I haven't touched alcohol my whole life, not even fruit wine. Just like some people don't drink tea or coffee, I don't drink alcohol. Is that so hard to understand? Who says you have to drink? Some weren't satisfied and tried to persuade me, so I just stood up and walked out of the bar. Gina followed me out, apologized, and offered to drive me home. She said her friends were used to doing whatever they wanted and that I shouldn't pay them any mind. That was when I made it clear to Gina I wouldn't associate with her friends anymore. Meanwhile, the group chat was still buzzing. They were going on about how the goody-goody goes to bed early and wakes up early, like someone from another era. Not to say anything, but is this guy not from some ancient tomb or what? It's like he's been a puppet for so long. He takes pride in it without realizing he's lost his sense of self. He goes for a run every night. I hear his mom arranged this. He really is a mommy's good boy, isn't he? By this point, I was sure Gina either couldn't understand things or just couldn't express herself. I distinctly remember not saying it that way. That night after dinner, Gina insisted on driving me to the beach. I turned her down, saying I had to run that night. I had a weak constitution growing up, catching colds often. The doctor advised exercise, and running, being the simplest form, became a habit since elementary school. Back then, my dad used to run with me. After sticking with it for over 6 months, I noticed I was much healthier and hardly caught colds anymore. Since then, running became a long-term habit. I used to run daily, but when I started grad school last year, the workload increased sharply, and I had to practice piano too. Concerned about my exhaustion, Dad suggested running just 3 times a week. I found I preferred night runs. They helped me sleep better and avoided sweating it out in the morning and having to shower before class. Gina's invitation was on a Sunday. That week, with a paper due, I had only managed 2 runs. Sticking to 3 runs weekly is non-negotiable for me, so I needed to clock that 3rd one on Sunday. I declined Gina's beach plans and shared my routine with her. But in her friend's narrative, it became a task assigned by my dad that I dared not defy. Even if I told them running is something I genuinely enjoy, that I'm preparing for a half marathon this year, they probably wouldn't believe it. I chose to stay silent. Explaining to people like them is a waste of breath. They're set in their ways, refuse to listen, and consider themselves independent-minded, even smug about it. Like now, they're convinced I'm a daddy's boy, thinking I'm fake, pretentious. Never mind that knowing someone requires effort, and they've only seen me briefly a handful of times, barely exchanging words. How can they judge who I am? The chat was still buzzing with activity. The goody-goody guy's pitiful, being so controlled in everything, they opined. Apparently he's played violin for over a decade. Never slacks. Forced to take exams. So tragic. Right, from a fancy private school to a regular high school, all at his parents' behest. Later on, his elder brother chose his college for him. Does he even have a mind of his own? Can't he take control of his life even a little? Well, he's got to have brains to get into one of the top universities in the country. Can you guys match that? No way, but we don't care. Only a goody two-shoes would study just to please their parents. We don't need to please anyone. We just want to live freely. Reading these comments, I couldn't help but chuckle. This is what it means to follow the crowd. When I was in middle school, I really did attend one of those so-called elite private schools. But in less than a year, I realized it wasn't the kind of learning environment I wanted. The kids there didn't feel any academic pressure. They just treated studying as a little extra to their lives. So, I asked my parents to transfer me to a public middle school. Here, everyone followed a routine. Nobody talked about where to hang out or compared limited edition clothes or toys. Life was simpler. I loved the pure focus on learning here and adapted quickly. Later, when I aced my high school entrance exam as the top student in the city, I didn't choose another elite private high school. Instead, I went straight to a top public high school. For my college entrance exams, I did as expected, scoring pretty much what I anticipated. My older brother was ranked 3rd in the province for sciences back in the day. He knew a lot about different colleges and had experience with college applications. So when it was my turn to choose colleges, I sought his advice. Thanks to him, I picked the right school and major. I'm really thankful to my brother. He did tons of research to help me out. As for sticking with the violin and running, those are just my interests. When I was a kid, my parents didn't know what I liked, so they signed me up for all sorts of after-school classes. I tried drawing, piano, roller skating, violin, singing, hosting, taekwondo, swimming, and more. My parents said I just needed to find the ones I really enjoyed and stick with them. In time, I dropped the others, but the violin stayed. I loved the sound of it and felt that playing it while standing looked elegant. My parents said since I chose it, I had to stick with it and couldn't quit halfway. I agreed. Sometimes it felt tough with all that homework and violin practice. But whenever I thought about giving up, my mom would gently encourage me, rewarding me and urging me on. And just like that, I stuck with it for over 10 years, passed all the levels, and even performed in some concerts. I felt the magic of music more deeply. I'm so glad I never gave up on that interest. I have a family that truly loves me and respects my opinions. In such a loving family, I've always felt really happy. So how did they turn my life into some puppet show in their words? What gives them the right to insult me and my family like that? I know my family's good to me. Deliberately going against them in the name of being individualistic just isn't me. I can't bear to let my family, who genuinely love me, feel disappointed or hurt. The group chat was still full of mockery when Gina finally spoke up. "I got a new boyfriend now, you guys. Give me a break and stop talking about my ex." The chat quickly shifted topics. "Is it that cute guy who asked for your number at the cafe? He's cool, very down to earth. I once saw him drink and he's genuinely outgoing. Much better than that goody two-shoes guy. Gina, next time bring him along. We love a good laugh, not those stiff guys." Just to pacify that guy, Gina even met at the library. Ridiculous. How did Gina even manage that? A library date? Poor Gina. Get her some good food to make up for all that. I just can't get it. What's wrong with a library date? Isn't that what college students do? Study together at the library? At that time, I was super busy with coursework and spent every day at the school library. Gina said she'd join me there, and I never forced her. She even mentioned that quiet dates were novel, and she enjoyed watching me study. "I love spending time with you even more," she once told me. "It gives me a steady, comforting feeling. I've even turned down friends who wanted to hang out for your company. To be honest, I grew tired of noisy hangouts, at least that's what she told me." Her eyes full of affection seemed sincere enough. Turns out she was just pretending to like how I was. I can't wrap my head around it. I've always played by the rules, loved learning, been polite, respected my elders, and never bothered anyone. Yet, this group of spoiled rich kids look down on me? Maybe we just think differently and can't relate to each other. I didn't want to waste another minute with them. A bunch of jerks. Get lost. I angrily dropped a curse in the chat and then left the group. Then I blocked Gina too. Life returned to its peaceful state. Classes, violin practice, it was all simple yet fulfilling. Gina and I never crossed paths again. I occasionally heard bits about her through friends. After me, her next boyfriend only lasted a month. She dated a few more guys, none for long. She abandoned her sister's company after a fight, ran off and never went back, claimed she wanted to start her own business, got some cash from her dad, and first invested in an esports team. The team lasted a year, guzzled money like a thirsty beast, and eventually disbanded without any success. She then sweet-talked more funds out of her mom and recently started a racing club. She bragged about making it the best in the country. Her group of rich kid friends either got bored or were in some kind of race to start their own ventures. I asked my brother if any of them succeeded in their businesses. "They're just dabbling, nothing big," my brother said, dismissively. A moment of silence. Then he studied me. "You're not thinking about starting a business, are you?" I had just graduated from my master's and was in a job hunting phase. Quickly, I shook my head. "No way, I don't have that drive. Didn't I tell you before? I'm following my mentor's advice to stay at the school for a teaching gig." My brother nodded. "Your mentor's experienced and a good judge of character. Listening to him is wise. Plus, your calm nature fits well with teaching. Less fuss that way." Hesitant, I added, "You've always given me pocket money, and I've saved quite a bit. I was thinking about a safe investment, hopefully something guaranteed." "Any advice?" "Guaranteed?" My brother chuckled. "Kinda greedy there, aren't you?" "Even I'm not sure about guaranteed investments." I wasn't being greedy. I just thought letting the money sit seemed wasteful compared to steady investments, even if the return's modest, as long as it's better than bank interest. After some thought, my brother chose his words carefully. "You've finished your master's. It's time to step into the real world. So, it's been over a year since things ended with Gina. Have you really moved on? I blinked. Who's Gina? Can't remember. My brother laughed. That's good. Are you still against blind dates? I'm never against blind dates. It's not that we're pressuring you to get married. We just see how you are. You enjoy being on your own too much, according to me and Mom and Dad. If we don't help, years might pass, and you still won't find a girlfriend on your own. That's true. I've always been content by myself and lazy about meeting new people. Last time, our professor arranged a mixer with 3 universities for grad students. But I got so into reading, I forgot to go. The professor wanted to kill me when he found out. My brother poked my forehead. I want to slap you too. Can't you be a bit more proactive and get a girlfriend? I pouted, grabbing his arm. Isn't that why I have you guys? If you help pick, I'll go to all the blind dates. All of them? He raised an eyebrow. How many times do you want to go on a blind date? Do we have nothing else to do but pick dates for you all day long? Well, just one for now. I actually have someone in mind. Their family's not well off, but they're incredibly talented. And they're a whiz at investing. Even if nothing romantic happens, you'll win a new friend. An investment whiz? Now you've got my interest. Set me up for tomorrow. I went to this blind date thinking I'd just meet this investment genius. But surprisingly, I ended up really liking them. Helen's got star-quality looks. She's different from Gina. Gina always had this boldness in her face and attitude. Helen, on the other hand, looks young but carries a calm, steady vibe. I figured someone like her might be quiet and not talk much. Instead, during our meal over an hour, she was the one doing most of the talking. She spoke clearly, calmly, with a deep, magnetic voice that just draws you in. You've got an incredible amount of knowledge. No wonder you're a Harvard grad. I couldn't help but compliment her. Throughout the conversation, she didn't miss a beat in responding to anything I said. Even when I got into my field specifics, she knew the big names, even familiar with some contentious paper that recently came out. Aren't you into finance? How come you know so much? I asked wide-eyed. We in investments read broadly and, well, I just pick up a lot from the news, she replied humbly. Nice meeting you today. After learning about investing, I'll probably steer clear. It's beyond me, I joked. No, I think you're smart. You catch on quick. If you did get into it, you could make a real mark. Thanks, but I don't have the energy. I waved it off. If I find a good project, not too big, want me to loop you in? Absolutely. Consider me on board. So, can I see you again? She asked cautiously. Of course. This blind date went well. Thanks to my brother, really, for setting us up. I genuinely liked her and wanted to keep it going. Hey, don't I seem a bit familiar to you? She asked. I examined her face thoroughly, furrowing my brow. Now that you mention it, yeah, sorta. Did we meet before? Back in middle school on the rooftop of Building 2, she hinted. I racked my brains until I remembered. You're the upperclassman who had a tough time. Old memories resurfaced. Every lunch, classrooms burst with noise, like the students wanted to blow the roof off. I sought quieter corners to read in peace. One day, up on the rooftop, I saw her sitting on the railing. Her legs dangled over, swinging slightly. One small jump, she'd be like a butterfly drifting away. Terrified me. Upperclassmen, don't do anything reckless. I cried out, trying to calm her down. Why did I say upperclassmen? Being a freshman, she likely was a year or two above. Turning back in the light, she was a bit shadowed, but strikingly pretty. You're so good looking. Looking in the mirror should cheer you up. What's so bad you can't get over it? My words tumbled out clumsily. Oh, what other traits do I have to offset my sadness? She challenged me. In trying to sway her from the edge and feeling the weight of possibly saving a life, I scrambled, showering her with compliments. Upon listening to my jumbled praise, she chuckled softly. She turned, hopped off the rail. Oh, and you're the tallest girl I know my age. Another giggle. All right, I'll listen to you. No stupid acts. Bye. She left, leaving me basking in having saved a life. Looking at her calm face, I couldn't believe she once felt that way. Back then, were you really hurting? I asked. Helen's so composed and strong now. Just how deep was her pain back then? My brother mentioned her family's struggles. When setting me up on a date, family background's a factor. He had said that was her only flaw. Gina's father was known for spoiling wives and neglecting mistresses. He's scarier than those wealthy guys who switch partners and spoil others. At least those guys only care about their own pleasure. Her dad is famous for being passionate, but not with her mom, his legal wife. It's with his mistress. When she was in elementary school, her dad found true love. He caused chaos trying to divorce her mom for this true love. But since her parents had a political marriage, both families intervened, and they stayed in this limbo for years. By the time Helen was in middle school, her parents finally divorced. Now that I think about it, when I met her on the rooftop, it was right after her parents' divorce. I figured she might have been suicidal because of it. Unexpectedly, Helen laughed, saying, "I looked for you afterward, but they said you transferred schools." Yeah, I felt the school's vibe wasn't great for learning, so I transferred. I actually wanted to tell you that day, I wasn't trying to jump. Then why were you on the railing? That's crazy dangerous. She replied, "There's a platform below. It's barely more than a meter down, you wouldn't even get hurt." I was just in a good mood because of the divorce and wanted a quiet place to relax. You felt good about the divorce? I've been hoping for it. They only tortured each other being together. I never cared about that man. Why would I harm myself for him? He's not worth it. Why didn't you say so when I tried to talk you down? My bad. You looked so worried. It was kinda cute. I wanted to tease you. I meant to apologize, but you moved away. Alright, you're forgiven. Talking with Helen was fun, and we exchanged contacts. We kept chatting like we couldn't stop. From hobbies to career plans, we talked about everything. She joked about wanting to date a teacher. Lying in bed, thinking about that text made me smile. Just as I was about to reply, my phone rang. It was an unknown number. I hesitated but picked up. "Henry, can we meet tomorrow?" It was Gina, whom I hadn't heard from in a while. "No." I declined immediately. "If you don't, I'll wait for you at your school every day." "Are you threatening me?" "How could I?" She chuckled bitterly. "I'm just asking. Could we meet? It's been over a year since we broke up. There's no need to meet." "Fine, then I'll come to your house tomorrow." I didn't get why she insisted on meeting, but I didn't want her stalking me, so I agreed. We arranged to meet at the same cafe we used to go. Get to the point. I don't want to waste time. Gina still looked stunning, but I couldn't be bothered. "Did you go on a blind date?" she accused. "Yeah." "You're still as spineless as ever. Your brother sets you up, and you go? Why not? He picks a good match for me. Better than I'd pick myself. You're a person. Why let your family control you? They love me and have my best interests at heart. Who else should I listen to? I like them arranging my life." "You're hopeless." Gina gritted her teeth. "And what's so great about Helen?" I was surprised how much her criticizing Helen got under my skin. "Your family's picture perfect, yet you play around. That was my last party. I was gonna settle down with you after. Am I supposed to thank you for that?" I sneered. Frustrated, Gina raked her fingers through her hair. "Henry, how could you end things so easily?" I was taken aback. Joining their friend group was met with sarcasm. "I just don't get why they think I'm head over heels for her." "Gina, I don't love you. We've only known each other for 6 months from blind date to nearly engaged. How much love could I have?" "Impossible," she countered, listing all the thoughtful things I did. I admitted, but it was all from a book on romance I read. Initially, I wasn't adverse to Gina. Her family was a huge plus. Her parents were famously in love. I thought she'd have a decent outlook on relationships. I wanted to do good in this relationship, but I didn't know how to be a boyfriend. I learned from a best-selling book. I lacked the heart-rushing feelings the book described, but tried hard to be a good boyfriend. I had no idea my efforts made her believe I loved her deeply. Maybe I was too good at it? I calmly explained to Gina. She shook her head in disbelief. "How could you not care? I've waited over a year for you." I laughed while seeing other guys. "It was fake, a show to make you jealous. We're not right for each other. You love the party life. I like quiet. We aren't in love, so what's the point? I can't help loving you, Gina said, tearing up with a bitter smile. You love me? That's ridiculous. I rolled my eyes. If only you weren't my blind date, maybe I'd be less averse. She regretted her choices. I just didn't want to be told who to marry. So, you're being rebellious for no reason. I really can't get it. You're in your 20s, yet you're still so immature. Doesn't it bug you that they control everything about you? Nope, not at all. It's not about control. It's care. I actually enjoy it when my family fusses over me. Gina gave a bitter smile. Maybe it's just me who's not mature enough. I keep going against my parents and can't admit I like you. If there's nothing else, can I go now? I interrupted her, not wanting to hear any more. Henry. She suddenly grabbed my sleeve. I'm sorry. I'm just a coward who can't even show my feelings for you. They all say you're a fake goody two-shoes wearing a mask. That's why I don't dare admit I like you, fearing they'd laugh at me. Honestly, I had a good impression of you at our first blind date. I might act like I'm criticizing how uptight you are, but actually, I love spending time with you. After you left, I'd visit the library whenever I had time. I fell in love with the quiet atmosphere there. I envy your self-discipline, how you got into a top school, and how you earnestly pursue your passions. Took me a while to realize those who badmouth you are just jealous. Like me. They envy you can do what they can't, so they put you down because of their dark minds. When she said all this, I was a bit surprised. Turns out that's how they really think. But honestly, I don't care what kind of people they are. Our paths won't cross again. Done talking? Then I'm leaving. As I headed to the cafe door, Gina shouted, Do you think I'm like a clown? I ignored her and left right away. In my mind, I thought not just like one. She is one. Helen found out I met Gina and got a bit jealous. You're not still hung up on her, are you? Normally calm. She was surprisingly flustered. I chuckled. There was never anything to hang on to, was there? Only then did Helen fully relax. We've been dating for half a year, which made everyone think I was head over heels for her. I said I never really loved her. Don't you think that's fake? I curiously asked. She shook her head. You treated her well because you valued the relationship and were genuinely trying to make it work. In a relationship, character is more important than love. I just see a guy making great efforts for his feelings and doing his best to maintain it. Honestly, I envy Gina for being treated seriously by you as a girlfriend. But I must confess, right now, I only have a crush on you. It's far from love. I said, a crush? That's great, it means my starting line isn't worse than Gina's. And that's enough. Helen was all smiles, we'll take it slow. Feelings can be nurtured. I nodded. I agree with that, hoping we build a strong bond. After being with Helen for more than 6 months, we got engaged. She actually proposed to me directly, and even though I like her, I turned her down. I felt it was too soon for marriage since we hadn't known each other that long. Helen, not to be stalled, insisted on at least getting engaged. On our engagement day, I spotted a familiar face, a guy named Justin. He actually called Helen his sister. After I pressed her, Helen admitted she had Justin approach me. She explained that after her parents' divorce, she quickly moved abroad with her mom but always thought of me. When she came back, seeing I was with Gina, she felt her world shatter. If that girl was worthwhile, I'd accept it bitterly. But from what I found, she's just a spoiled rich kid. Bombed her college exams entirely, sent abroad by her folks to get a bogus degree. How could that kind of trash be with you? That's why you had your brother get close to me and trash talk Gina daily. Helen sighed. Justin's such a simpleton. His intentions were too obvious, making you suspicious. I couldn't train him well, he drives me crazy. I shot her a look. So you already had your eye on me back then? You little creep. I smooth things over and deny. No, back then it was just a vague good impression. Later I even forgot what you looked like. Seeing you again after coming back was when love truly started. Spill it, how did you charm my brother into arranging those dates? I didn't dare charm. Wasn't it just my talent on display? Blame me for being impressive, winning your brother's approval. Do you have any idea how many great projects I had to pitch to get near him? Jealous? Of course not. It's all in the family anyway. Someone's gain is all that matters. Soon after we got engaged, Gina popped up again, out of nowhere. She started showing up all over, seriously bothering my life. Her car would be downstairs when I left in the morning. She'd be hanging around the cafeteria when I'd grab lunch. Even when I go out with Helen, she'd trail not too far behind. Let's take a trip. I told Helen, consider it a post-engagement mini honeymoon. You got the time? For you, anytime. Helen said, but I don't want you traveling out of pressure. If you're worried about Gina clinging on, let me find something for her to do. Keep her busy. Nah, just want to travel with you, we haven't gone on a trip yet. Helen perked up. I'll book the tickets now, we'll leave tonight. After our trip, I was a bit worried Gina might pop back up. Thankfully, it seems she's dealing with her own troubles now. Her racing club had a fatal accident. Apparently, during a previous race, a car flipped on a mountain road, and the driver died on the spot. The driver came from a notable family too, and they were adamant about suing Gina, refusing any settlement. 3 months later, Gina's verdict came in, 3 years in prison. Not long after her sentencing, a friend of hers also got into trouble. That friend, who once called me a simp in a group chat, opened a bar and got busted for illegal drugs. She's also facing jail time. After these incidents, the group they used to hang out with kind of fell apart. Apparently, some folks got scared by what happened to those two and decided not to mess around with businesses anymore. They just went home to live an easy life. Others had families who worried they'd get into trouble, so they were sent abroad. Those spoiled rich kids, who used to look down on me for listening to my family, all got a reality check. They've all started behaving more well-behaved than me even. Later on, I went to visit Gina at the detention center. Her parents begged me to. They said Gina desperately wanted to see me. Seeing how much they had aged, and thinking about how good they'd been to me, I couldn't say no. Sitting across from me, Gina didn't have that rebellious look anymore. She looked more mature. I picked up the phone, smiled, and said, "You finally look like an adult now." Tears rolled down Gina's cheeks, and she choked up. I was wrong. Seeing my parents' heartbroken faces during the sentencing made me realize how much of a mess I've made. They should have had happy, complete lives without me messing it up. Henry, I wasn't lying before. I loved you and planned to stop fooling around after our engagement. I wanted to leave those bad influences behind and learn from my sister about running a business. But then you found out about the bachelor party and walked away without looking back. We were so close to you pulling me out of this mess. Why couldn't you just hold on a little longer? As Gina sobbed uncontrollably, I waited for her to calm down a bit and then spoke slowly. Gina, you were 18 when you became an adult, and you were 23 when we met. It's no one's fault but your own for not growing up. I have no time to wait for you to mature, and it's not my job to help you do it. You're the only one responsible for your life. Without looking at Gina's regretful face again, I got up and left. Honestly, there was something I didn't say. I never regretted being with Gina. I'm an adult, and every decision I make is carefully considered. If I made a wrong choice, I could handle the consequences myself. My parents introduced us because her family seemed great. But none of us expected that, despite her parents' and sister's solid values, she'd turn out immature and spoiled. She was a part of my life that showed me the diversity of people. That relationship is in the past, and I won't look back, because I still have a bright and sunny future ahead of me.